So I just got my head cut open by a falling first aid kit. What's the most ironic thing that has happened to you? Pulled a muscle in my back stepping down from a stool. What was I doing on the stool? Tacking up an OSHA poster about preventing workplace injuries. I nearly drowned in a pool of 15 lifeguards, training to be a lifeguard. I was strapped to a backboard so they could practice water rescue, and all 6 of the LGs lost their grip and I plunged into the 12-foot pool and sunk. I felt someone grab the top and start to tug me up, but I was dropped again. I finally got pulled out, but not before blacking out and swallowing a bunch of water. Irony. That is terrifying. My father's employer hands out the stupidest stuff as awards. One year, they went for several months without any lost time injuries, so they handed out a spatula for flipping pancakes or the like with the safety logo on it. The first time we used it, the badly filed plastic edge cut my father's hand open, and it was a deep cut, too. Bled all over the kitchen. That's what you get for making other people look bad. My sister went to the doc for an allergic reaction. They gave her Benadryl. That was how she discovered she is allergic to Benadryl. So is my wife. She even told the doctor that she had a reaction to it once. Please don't use it. They assured her it wasn't. It was. And 1 hour later they were pumping her chest and saying, "Who the heck is allergic to Benadryl?" I once got hit by a medic by accident while he was running through the hospital. He broke my rib and had to attend me free. 3. If he bumped into you, he was probably a spy. Otherwise he would just pass right through you. I'll see myself out. I fell from the top of a bunk bed when the station bell went off at 3 AM, breaking my ankle. Not only was I unable to respond to the call we were being dispatched for, I ended up being the second call. This didn't happen to me, but it's perfect irony. I work for a company that makes forms and informational materials for a hospital. One of the thousands of things we print is an informational booklet that has information on how to set up your home to minimize the risk of falling down. It is intended for old people or patients with limited mobility and strength. It's mostly filled with things like keep cords out of walking paths, don't let your rugs book up, and other obvious things. They're part of a nationwide effort to reduce avoidable falls. So we got an order for 5,000 booklets. We had about half of them done and had a stack of them on the floor waiting for the delivery guy to pick them up. Well, my co-worker came around the corner and tripped on a box of them and fell flat on the floor, injuring her wrist. My co-worker fell over a box of booklets about not falling down. She hurt her wrist. I was in a New Age mystic bookstore and I watched a guy accidentally cut his finger open with a healing crystal. The cashier went into the back office and got him a band-aid and Neosporin to actually heal him. There was a fortune teller in my hometown who burned down her store by leaving a crystal ball in the front window. It focused the light on a cloth underneath, setting it on fire. Not me, but a girl I worked with sliced her hand open on a knife and got 15 stitches doing the dishes from our 100 accident-free days cake. Not ironic so much a slapstick injury. A huge icicle fell in my head, knocking me to the ground. Blood everywhere. A trip to the hospital and staples in my head later. My boyfriend decides to knock the rest of the icicle off the roof with a wrench so it can't hurt anyone else. As he's banging away at it, an ice chip flew off into my eye. Next day I almost wrecked my car because I somehow got ice in my brake line and my brakes just froze. Solid. No brakes at all. I avoided a wreck, but it scared the crap out of me. TLDR. Mr. Freeze tried to kill me. My uncle died on impact while rear-ending a stopped ambulance on his motorcycle. His body busted through the back door and landed right in front of the paramedic. But nothing could be done. He was drunk and not wearing a helmet equals. But this was in the early 70s when people didn't realize quite how stupid that was. Age 7. Split my forehead open on a concrete sidewalk after tripping over an exposed pipe in the yard I was running past. On my way to grab my bike helmet for a ride. 18 stitches. 12 hours of lost time. All because I was trying to be safe. Had I not thought to grab my helmet, I wouldn't have split my head open. I've recently realized that one of the few albums in my library that I didn't pirate is called Steal This Album. System of a Down had such a sense of humor about some things. I once burned myself ironing. I guess it's not really ironic, I just wish it was so that I could have ironed ironically, or had an ironic ironing incident. Also addicted to alliteration. I was inspecting my football helmet I got from school before a game, and a small sticker on the back had safety precautions on it, and it said, should not be used for sports such as baseball or football. I got a dictionary as a gift once, and the gift giver wrote me a note on the inside of the front cover. She made a spelling error in the note. Back in middle school I won the school spelling bee, thus earning me my own special picture in the yearbook. I excitedly purchased my yearbook and flipped to the page to find that they had spelled my name wrong. I took Propecia to stop myself from going bald young, as I still wanted to get hot girls. The medication has made me permanently impotent and killed my sex drive. The irony. In high school I was jokingly flirting with a girl and a project fell off the wall and hit me. It was my girlfriend's project. Instant karma. I bent down to pick up a lucky penny at the same moment my co-worker sprayed an ammonia-based cleaner onto the counter. Nailed me right in the eyes. That was an bus penny, not a lucky penny. During the landing of an airplane, the overhead compartment popped open and I was hit in the head by the airline safety video. The corner of the VHS cassette left a small gash where it hit my scalp. 2 flight attendants saw it happen and did nothing. When the plane reached the terminal, they both stood up and walked past. I was in the second to last row, clear view from their jump seats. One stopped and I thought she was going to ask if I was okay. Nope. She closed the compartment door and kept walking. Stay classy, American Airlines. On the way back from a class, I was walking through my college campus and almost got hit by a university van that said Student Safety Services. Not me personally, but when I was in college we got an email notifying us of a fire earlier that day in one of the residence halls started by a pan left unattended on a stove. Why was it left unattended? Everyone needed to rapidly evacuate the building due to a fire drill. Found out I was allergic to trees, every single one. Fun stuff. Fast forward a few weeks, I accidentally touch a tree, so I go to wash my eyes out with some soap. This is when I discovered my allergies to soap, so my allergist hooks me up with some sweet eye drops to help me out with. Fast forward 2 more days, I'm allergic to the allergy medication. Now every time I'm too busy to hang with friends, they assume I became allergic to fun. Not me, but my dad. Growing up my dad traveled a lot for business, but it was normally not that far, 2 to 4 driving hours. He would still be gone a lot during the week, but he made good money, was a great father, it wasn't really weird and my mom didn't seem to mind. I think I was like 6, and my brother probably 9 when my dad told us he had to fly to North Carolina. He had never flown. Turns out he'd been waiting his whole dang life to take that flight. Sometimes we even called him Mr. Play it safe because he was a very careful, particular man. We were all a bit nervous when he had to get on the plane. So, he packed his suitcase, kissed me and my brother goodbye. Sadly, the plane crashed. We will never know what he was thinking as it went down. I can only hope that it was of his family. I miss you, Dad. The first time I heard that song, I swore she sang It's a Death Row Hard on 2 Minutes Too Late, and I couldn't help visualizing a convict swinging from a rope with an obvious boner everyone notices, but no one wants to acknowledge. Most awkward execution ever. Not me, but along the lines of the op. I used to work for a big box retailer and we had a real ball breaker overseer that worked for security. She would go out of her way to search for safety issues because she truly got off on getting people fired. Well, one day I see her walking out of her office with a massive gash on her head and face. Seems the shelf she had installed and then proceeded to overload fell and gave her a pretty nasty head wound. All I could do was smile. Sweet, sweet irony. That's karma. My car broke down, so I called AAA for a tow. About 20 minutes later I get a call saying that the AAA truck that was supposed to tow me had broken down and they were sending another one. A few years back, our cat was starting to get sick. He was losing weight and starting to breathe with his mouth open, or smell, I think. Long story short, in the end he died due to having an enlarged heart, which is common in male cats, on Valentine's Day. I had my windshield cracked by a rock spit up from a giant glass truck, a New England windshield replacement company. I went to a competitor to get it replaced. I have a similar story. I work in a laboratory where occasionally we have breakage of glassware, pasta pipettes, etc. that we dispose of in a cardboard safe disposal box. After months of overstuffing the broken glass box and crunching down other broken items when disposing of new broken ones, narrowly avoiding being cut by flying shards, I go ahead and order some new broken glass disposal boxes. After safely disposing of the old box, I begin to assemble the new broken glass disposal box and slice open my hand on a huge staple that's holding together the new safe disposal box. TLDR, sliced open my hand while assembling a safe disposal box for broken glass. Alanis Morissette's song Ironic was on the car radio. It was raining. At the stoplight next to me was a car all decked out with "Just Married" in the window and the streamers and stuff right as the line "It's like rain on your wedding day" was sung. I just about exploded in laughter. So, I was in my kitchen, and I'm making myself a sandwich. So I go to my drawer to get a knife for cutting the bread, but it turns out that I only have a shitton of spoons. I have admittedly been careless about texting while driving a few times in the past, but had never gotten in an accident or really come close. The first time I tried to use the handless texting on my new phone while driving, I rear-ended the guy in front of me. The first time I ever drove my car alone, at the ripe old age of 16, I went to Taco Bell, of course. Right as I'm about to get to the box to order, it breaks down. Fortunately there was room to push it out of the way, so I did, and went inside to use the payphone. It was broken, or I didn't have money, or something. Being a dumb shit at that age, I decide to jog in the sweltering heat to my cousin's house. He only lived a few miles away, and my logic was that I meant to go for a run that morning anyway. I almost died when I got there, but I recovered enough to call my mom. She was at the Verizon store, across the street from Taco Bell, buying me my first cell phone. Boyfriend might be an untouchable within the Hindu caste system, which is ironic because of what we did last night. Hey you. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.